Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 8 Weeks to Better Health, brought to you by Live Well Naturally. I'm Sherry Sancholi, and I'm your fearless host for the day. I've been doing espresso chats. Kim has been to like 99% of them. And I started it last March because I just wanted little brief Zoom chats where we could learn about health without them being like a deep dive of an hour, something sustainable where we could layer up our knowledge and not just try to learn it all overnight. So I'm wrapping up the year. I'm so excited. They're all on my YouTube channel. And I decided I had 8 weeks to go, and I'm like, I need to do like a finale. So this is kicking off our end of our year tour. And I'm really excited to help share with you some of my passions. So why am I doing this? Why am I sitting in my little hair salon, wanting to share with you about feeling better? Well, I was already living a lot of this life before I found doTERRA, and some of it even before I found yoga. I've always been outdoorsy. I've always felt like I was blessed with fairly good health. Right now, I do have nodes, but I'm not sick. I was telling Lauren, I must have woohooed because when I woohoo, I get nodes. But I'm curious by nature, and thankfully, I'm open minded. And so when somebody told me about doTERRA back in 2018, I thought, yeah, I like the idea of plant based products. And I have chronic asthma. Like, I would love to learn what that could do for me. And after a short period of time of switching out some products that were chemical laden over to plant based products and using the oils more and adding vitamins to our routine, I felt even better. I had more vitality. I had less brain fog. And I'm the kind of person that when I'm onto something, I want you to know about it, whether it's a restaurant or a great movie or a product, a lifestyle. I love connecting with other people and helping people find their groove. So these are the people that are most my why, although the people on the screen also are too. But, our puppy, our granddaughter, our four kids, I love getting the most out of my moments and making the most out of my memories. So here I am hoping that I can help you do that too. So today is all about reducing stress, which is ironic. It's our first class of 8. And I have to be honest, I felt a little stressed this morning. I was like, what's happening? We're doing this. But I have my adaptive going in my diffuser, and I have my roller bottle right here handy. Every week, I'm going to show you like a few products because there's so many. I could spend an hour just on products. But I wanted to boil it down. We're also going to do lifestyle hacks. We're also going to hear from our guest speaker, Lauren, today. So I thought I'm just going to try to just pick one a week. And if you want to do this experientially, you're welcome to. And if you want to just listen and learn about it, maybe down the road, it's something that you want to try. If somebody invited you who is a rep for doTERRA, please go through them. I'm going to take a moment and say hi to Beth.
Hi, Sherry. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
welcome. Yes, I'm so glad you're here, all the way from New York. Um, okay. And so we're just getting started, Beth. You didn't miss much. We just did our quick little intro, which you've kind of heard over and over. And this is the first slide that actually dives into the specifics. So today we're talking about stress. We're talking about adaptive. I tried to pick a product every week, just one product, so it wouldn't be overwhelming. So it always has that little pink star next to it. And it's what my go-to is. And I tried to pick things that were lower price points so that I wasn't like flooding you with a big post holiday shopping list. But this adaptive roller is the bomb. I love it. I used it this morning. I have it in my purse. It's one of my favorite oils. And so I thought, you know what? We're going to start with that. Before I go on to the slide that's going to tell you more about adaptive, I also want to just give a shout out to this kind of yoga collection on the down low. Now, Lauren's going to notice right away, it's not in order. And I don't know if they even realize it could be correlated with yoga, but I have this set of 6 roller bottles in a hard case in my yoga bag. And every time I get down on the deck on my mat, hopefully I get there early enough that I can sit down and kind of tap in and think, how am I feeling? And that's a big part of addressing our stress is just being able to identify how we're feeling, if we're feeling stress. I could hold this water bottle with my arm out for a bit, but I couldn't do it infinitely. I would get fatigued. And I think that's the same analogy with stress. Like we're all going to have stress. That's inevitable. But the trick is how long do we carry it? And so this beautiful collection does correlate to the chakras. It has the red for the root, the orange for the sacral, the yellow for your solar plexus, green for your heart, and it's called Forgive. Peace, I use a lot on my neck because I tend to get nodes and carry stress in my throat. And then Console for your third eye. It doesn't have the seventh, it doesn't have the crown chakra, but you could make it up. You could use Copaiba or something else. But I just wanted to give that a shout out because it's kind of an unsung hero. Okay, so adaptive. What's all the fuss about? Well, I memorized this definition that used to be on the website. I don't know if it still is or not, but I love it because it sums it up so well. Adaptive will give you sustained focus while easing your body and mind. So, although it does have a little lavender in it, it's not rooted in lavender. It's not something that you're going to use at night purely for going to sleep or getting into that relaxed zone. You can use it with lavender, serenity, or other things. But the beauty of it is that it's really a great go to for the daytime. You're going to still feel sharp. You're still going to feel clear. You're going to, not be sleepy or relaxed, but you're going to take the edge off all naturally, all with plants. And what's in it is wild orange and lavender, copaiba, which is an amazing 100-foot tall tree in Brazil, spearmint, magnolia, rosemary, and neroli. So I have a friend that's special forces, and I've heard it said that they've used adaptive to help get soldiers off of PTSD medicine. And so, out of curiosity and also wanting to help him, I sent him the soft gels and the roller and asked him if he would use it and just give me his feedback. And he said it did help him, which makes me so happy, both that I could help him and that I could have kind of a testimonial behind their claim. So I love it. I tend to run a little bit on the anxious side of the spectrum, and it just is a great way to kind of like ground myself and just focus and not get so okay. And then also I wanted to share with you about essential oils in general. Essential oil molecules. So it's not just like a smell good thing. Like I'm not smelling this beautiful blend of oils and thinking, oh, that's nice. Like it's way beyond being a pleasantry because essential oils travel to the brain through the olfactory nerves. And that impacts, here I go, Beth, with my words, the amygdala. I have a hard time saying words. Amygdala part of the limbic system, which controls your emotions and memories. So there really is scientific proof that oils can impact your emotions and your physical being. Now, I'm passionate about doTERRA because we run all of our products through 54 rounds of tests. 11 of them are with a third party, and we publish the results publicly. So I know when I'm smelling, using topically, especially ingesting, which you don't ingest this oil, but in general, I know I'm not accidentally ingesting pesticides. It's not being adulterated with extra carrier oil, and it's not being swapped out like using geranium instead of rose. Like I know what they say they're using, they really are, and then it's pure. That's really important because it only takes 22 seconds for it to reach your brain, 2 minutes to be found in the bloodstream, and 20 minutes to affect every cell in your body. Like that's kind of mind blowing. And it's so mind blowing that I actually fact checked it because I was like, wait a minute, is that true for aromatic and topical or just when you ingest it? But it's true for all three forms of using oil. And again, this specific oil you only use aromatically and topically. But I found that to be really interesting. And lastly, I just want to quickly share with you a quick study that we did. We being doTERRA, studied lavender, our lavender oil on 100 humans for 5 years. It was a controlled group. And we would take blood work afterwards and see the composition of how that was showing up in their body. And because we harvest lavender from 4 different regions in the world, we're able to adjust the ratio to address variables that we can't control, like weather, crop disease, different things like that. And at the end of the 5 years, they deemed our lavender to be pharmaceutical grade because not only was the aromatic properties consistent, but the therapeutic properties were consistent. So because you can't ever become build up a tolerant to oils because they're made up of hundreds and thousands of compounds, I find that to be just wonderful news that once I find something that works, I can keep using it over and over. Okay, I can spend an hour on that slide. Here we go. So why do we do this? Well, stress can cause heart disease, digestive problems, high blood pressure, anxiety and or depression, weakened immune system, and impaired cognitive function. So, you know, what are some good ways of managing your stress? Yoga, which Doug and I have really gotten into, and it's just a game changer, not just for our bodies, but for our whole being. Meditation, which we're going to touch on today. Other forms of exercise too. Whatever you do that you like, that's probably keep doing that because you're gonna find that you turn to it more readily. Healthy lifestyle choices and seeking outside support when you need it. I mean, I love a good checkup from the neck up, right? Like we all need a third party to talk to sometimes. So this is our dear Karina, which you've heard me talk a lot about, and my friend Lisa. And these are extreme expressions of yoga. I don't expect all of us to, I don't have this range, but I thought it was fun pictures and I just like sharing them with you. I think Beth might have her speaker on and I don't know how to, oh, I think I do know how to mute you. There we go. So, I have a lot of, when I went through YTT, which this is how I know Lauren is from my home yoga studio, I would joke with people and say, yeah, I think I'm a poster child for like midlife women or just people, that don't think they could do yoga because they'd be like, wait, you're a yoga teacher? Maybe I could do yoga. And so that was, I think, kind of my cause out in the world. And what I've come to learn is that anybody can do yoga because it's really just connecting your breath with movement. And my favorite story that I'll keep brief for time's sake is my dad, late in life, had a stroke and lost a leg and was having a hard time breathing and said to me, doesn't it help your breath? And I said, yes. And so we ended up sitting around his kitchen table and doing chair yoga. And his one side was paralyzed, but he would like lift his arm and do the movement with breath. So if he could do yoga, I'm pretty sure that anybody watching this would be able to find their yogic expression. And lastly, meditation. I used to think, I've been sober for 36 years and they talk about meditation a lot in the program. And I used to think I had to be like this monk on a mountain in a cave and like sit still, which if you know me, that's like almost impossible. And what I've come to learn is, yes, I can access that from time to time and yet don't discount moving meditation. If you're doing the dishes and you're not thinking about the past or the future and you're in the now, and you're just observing your inner landscape without judgment, which is kind of the key part, then you are in the now and you are meditating. So whether you're going for a walk, doing dishes, or just sitting still, it's really just listening to your inner landscape. So, I did great on my time. I've been watching my timer. I am so excited to introduce our guest speaker today. I met Lauren I joined Riffs in probably like 2015. I don't know when you came around, but I've known you for a long time. And we both did our yoga teacher training under our dear Karina, who I talk a lot about in this group. And Lauren, has taken on Karina's yoga teacher training. And I couldn't think of a better person to do that because she has really embodied the teachings that Karina has passed along to us. And you're just such a wonderful, wise young soul. And I was in the shower today and I was thinking, wait, is it young soul or old soul? Because you're a young body, but you have a lot of wisdom. So maybe it is old soul, but you're just delightful. And I was so happy when she said that she would share her time with us. So she's going to share, and I have no idea what about. And I look forward to hearing what it is. So take it away.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like we've been part of the Riffs family for so long, so I just really appreciate all the support and the love that you give in that space. It radiates. Everyone knows who Sherry is, and it's so sweet. But yeah, like she was saying, I did the 200-hour yoga training at Riffs probably 8 years ago, and it was such a beautiful experience and something that I really resonated with was, I think, understanding the day-to-day life of humans and the stressors that we all inevitably have, and we all inevitably start to work through in this life. And something that was really interesting for me was understanding people's way of holding stress in their physical body and their subtle body and even in their mind. And so I looked up to a lot of teachers, but I noticed a lot of people that were in pain from, chronic stress and so forth. And so from my teacher training, I ended up going and doing a 1,000-hour program of holistic health and becoming a massage therapist as well to really let it be a tangible experience, understanding what's happening at the tissue level, what's happening underneath my own touch, and then also what's happening at the subtle level and how do we hold our emotions and so forth. And maybe for some of you, you've heard of this book called The Body Keeps the Score. And it's a really representation of understanding that our body is really a book and a novel of our life. The scars, the things that we've been through, they're all embedded within our body, and we can kind of uncover those over time. And something that I think is really beautiful that you've started to tap into, Sherry, is that these small little modalities that we can sip in throughout our day can make the most profound effect on our bodies and on our minds and in our life. And one of the biggest pieces that I really bring into and understand is one, the uncovering of we call samskaras, which is really just impressions that we all have in our body. It is our own tendencies. And sometimes when we look at uncovering this philosophy of what is samskaras, it's often related to, what are our bad habits? What are the things that we do wrong and so forth? But in reality, we also have good samskaras. We have good habits that are innate within us, some that draw us to, wanting to sip in the sweet moments and slow down. We have some samskaras that invite us to want to go to yoga or want to offer help in your community and so forth. We have these inclinations naturally within us. And on the second level is that what I'm working with when I'm going into the practices of yoga is sipping in the small little bits of wisdom that can actually be poured into our day-to-day life. And so what I mean by that is that we have these repetitions, we have our daily habits, the samskaras, and we get to choose the auspicious ones, what we want to lean more deeper into. And with those repatterning of beneficial habits, the things that we do in a small dosage that start to repattern our day-to-day life, creating a auspicious life, we could so to say, is an understanding that when we place in the small little things every so with accumulation with each day and so forth, we begin to build this reservoir of deep rest and deep healing all the time, right? All day, every day, we start to sip in the sweetness and slowing down and recognizing, because for some of us, and for probably most of us, our natural pattern is to be in stress mode. And that's been kind of our innate place that we live in. And so to slowly start to place small little things, it's not as one of my teachers say, it's not the big things you do every once in a while, it's the small little things you do every single day that start to rewire how you live in your life and also how you walk through life, right? And so bringing in these small little pieces, whether it be essential oils, whether it be, offering yourself a cup of tea in the morning, whether it be reading a book each day or something like that, we can actually place a lot of emphasis on deep healing in a more approachable and more digestible way, right? Because again, our ability to come together in a sense of recognizing that all of life becomes a ritual. All of life and every action we do can be an intentional action. And that places us back into the heart space rather than getting ahead of ourselves, rather than our mind taking over. We start to reestablish our mind back into the throne of the heart. We become established in intention instead. So a lot of my practices revolve around that. It's very slow, but it's very intentional and it's deep because we're going onto the deepest layer of our mind, an understanding of what are our patterns in general and how do they show up in our body itself physically. Is it through shoulders crunching? Is it through your back hurting and so forth? And recognizing, like you said, first recognizing where that pain is stored, and then starting to rewire those patterns in a healthy and digestible way over time. So, I offer a specific practice called Shri, which is spinal release yoga practice. And again, it's very gentle yet very deep and nourishing, healing. And on top of that, I have to mention as well is that. Um, I love to provide these practices in many different dosages and different ways and different places because I think it has such an impact on how we can digest the information of the wisdom of yoga because it is so vast and so beautiful. You can unpack it forever. And so one, I do, one-on-one sessions that are Shri therapy related, that are specifically tailored to what are your needs and what are your chronic pains and how we can kind of start to rewire those. At the same time, I also teach at Rift Studios. So, Sherry, I see you there doing community classes as well. And then another layer that I've been really loving lately has been immersing myself in more of the retreat setting. And the reason kind of being is that we draw ourselves back to an intimacy of coming together in a collective format, just even like this, and recognizing the similarities in such a beautiful way that it starts to unfold a deep healing in a general kind of community quality. And so I've done in the past a couple other mini kind of retreats and so forth, and it's been really beautiful because it's not about and this can come from my own perspective and perception on, other people's yoga retreats and so forth. That has to be crazy and you have to do so many excursions and so much things are going on. It's a fitness kind of mentality. And instead, I wanted to draw away from that. And a lot of my retreats focus in on what is nourishing, what is slowing down, tending to this kind of moon quality within the practices of yoga, and looking at the philosophy of stillness, of pauses, of finding the deep wisdom and nectar that's already there within you and uncovering that in a very gentle and approachable way. So you're coming into these practices and leaving them in a sense that you feel full and nourished at the end of them. And so something that's really beautiful that I emphasize is really the moon element, which is a symbolism of rest and sleep and slowing down. I have a dear friend that Sherry also knows, Alana, who is all about the moon as well. And so this collaboration of the moon and the love of moon, Alana is another teacher at Rift Studios that I've known for the last couple years. I was actually doing their anatomy training for her teacher training at the time. And me and her are coming together and offering a really beautiful full moon kind of experience retreat in Kauai during the springtime this year, which is going to be such a beautiful kind of moment to really sip in the slowing down aspect and finding nourishment in the small little practices. And so I'll be offering a lot of philosophy, a lot of slowing down, a lot of the Shri practices or spinal release practices. So I'm just really, really excited to kind of bring in many different ways because I think this conversation is so prevalent and so needed, especially in such a high culture that emphasizes the hustle and bustle and doing more. My aspect is doing less. Less is more. So, yeah, that's kind of the gist of it, of all the things. And my company specifically is called Woven Vessels Healing. And so I have a bunch of online things that you can find on there. I have a whole library of spinal release yoga practices, yoga nidras, which are kind of like a meditation practice, and just a lot more context to what is healing and true essence and the reality of what yoga is and the fullness that it is. So yeah, thank you, Sherry, again for inviting me here. Oh.
Luckily, it reminds me that I'm muted. Thank you so much for your time and talents. And as you see now, how much I love her and why. And we're both going to be on when we wrap this up in just a few minutes. So if anybody has any questions, we're happy to hang out for a little bit so you can ask questions after the recording's done. But thank you so much. And that was beautifully said. And you're just such a gift to our community. So, all right, I'm going to 4 minutes. We're going to wrap this up. It's perfect timing. So every week we're going to, after our guest speaker, and next week we will hear from Alana. So that'll be kind of fun to back see the other end of the collaboration here. And that retreat is going to be amazing. We're gonna add a lifestyle hack. So we have a product, we have a speaker, and then we're going to have a habit that we're going to do. But the thing that I'm super excited about this is that every week we're going to also briefly list the habit from weeks prior. So you don't all of a sudden at the end of the 8 weeks go, oh my gosh, what was it I was supposed to be doing? You can next week go, oh, that's right, box breathing, and then what we're stacking on next week. So I'm not going to take the time to go through this, but I will take the time to explain it. So this is one of my favorite breath work exercises. I'm very visual, and it helps me to work on my breath because of my asthma, but everybody can benefit from breath work. It definitely drops you down into your center. Anytime you're feeling stressed, you can just like go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, do some box breathing, like just grab a minute, go into a quiet space, and just a couple rounds of this, it's impossible to think about your past or your future when you're like focused on your breath. And that's the whole point of it to me. So you're going to sit comfortably, put a hand on your belly and your chest, exhale the breath that you have, and then inhale for 4 counts, hold it for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold that exhale for 4. So I visualize a box as I'm doing it, and I'm a very visual person. So I really enjoy this breath work. I can see Lauren doing it as we're sitting. Doug's doing it. Whether you're doing it right now or you want to like give it a go once this class is over, it doesn't take long, but I want to make sure we have time to wrap up the slides. So this is my tip for the week. And if you wanted to stack in a product, you could use your adaptive, apply that, take some slow, deep breaths with that, and then 4 rounds of 4 counts of box breath. And I think that you'll notice that afterwards you notably feel different. And whatever that difference is, I would love to hear later. But this is my life hack that I'm introducing for the week. So in review, and then as we get farther down the course, this will have more to it. And each week we'll just have one line. I boil it down. Like I go into detail, and then next week I'll boil this one down. But you're going to apply your adaptive. You're going to do 4 rounds of box breath. And then you're just going to observe your thoughts without judgment or trying to change them. So the idea about meditating is you're not trying to like not have thoughts. You're just trying to not attach to them. And you just let them roll through like the clouds going across the sky. And if you think of your grocery list, just don't get mad at yourself. Just be like, oh, isn't that so interesting? I'm thinking about like apples right now. And just let it go and just keep all that flowing. And that I think is a great way to learn how to wear life a little looser, not get so attached to all that's going through our heads. And then, so now we've done stress less. We're going to be back next Wednesday for how to get better sleep. I know this is such an important skill for people. I know Beth loves putting a Serenity stick on the bottom of her feet. And we're going to be talking all about that. So I do hope that you can come back and let's connect. So here's my contact information. You can text me on this phone number. I have email, sherry@livewellnaturally.us. Livewellnaturally.us is also my website, my Facebook, my Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel. I'm at 30. Get me stopped. I'm so excited about my YouTube channel. Brittany, who will be on the week for cleaning our house because she's organizing our house for us, um, has helped me figure all this out because I don't know YouTube. My daughters were like, "Do you even watch YouTube?" And I'm like, "I'm going to start." But I have a YouTube channel and it's Live on Naturally 123. Please like and subscribe. Last I looked, I had 29 subscribers. And now there's at least 40 chats in there from all these little espresso chats we've been doing that are only 10 to 15 minutes long. So I just want to thank Lauren, especially for sharing her wisdom today, and all of you for showing up. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to stop the recording so that we can answer any questions that might come up. Let's see.